got ourselves Orakana Neko versus Colbri first up off the bat. And I'll try to see if I can communicate this while going to the Knight bot link, see what the hell is happening to him. Mordecall into Orakana, convoke the spirits, but he's not going to be able to stay on top of Colbri. That reflect with Netherward and the board and all that. That was so perfect. Does go for a big crash onto Orakana Neko, unfortunately. Big bites to follow. Try to see if he go for a port to get out of dodge. With a wall right after, trying to go for Skull Bash, but not going to be able to do much with that. Wall of Colbri, so Orakana Neko just needs to line aside. This is the best possible. Shadow Fury stops it. Bonza fell. Does break it, walling up to try to see if he can just stay in and make some damage happen. Knock back out of Colbri, but it just does not connect, unfortunately. And for Orakana, that's an opportunity to get a bunch of bleeds together with a maim right after. Fear to follow. Does not have a kick for this one. Bolt one. Do you have a double bolt? Does get himself the Chaos Smother with a bolt. That is enough to break past the defenses of the Pharaoh. Just enough to break past the health bar and put the Pharaoh potentially on a bit of a back paw. Foot? Paw? I want to say paw works, right? Hind legs? I don't really I don't really know. This is gonna be Fear to follow. No, actually it looked like he was gonna go Mortal Fear combo, but I think maybe you saw Arcana kind of moseying over behind the pillar with that Mortal. The Fear path would just put him in a bad spot. First aid, this is where Arcana needs to go for a Moonfire or something. I was gonna say Maim for some reason. Maim would work too, but Moonfire would be better. Just to break that heal. He's right next to him, trying to go for a kick, does not quite connect. Fear, but it's going to be Colbri with that wall pillar, trying to see if he can avoid it, trying to go for a stun, but he's still bled up. He's taking a lot of the bleed damage right now. Got himself that Nether Ward, but it's not really going to be able to do much. I don't think the Swarm can even be Nether Warded. Pretty sure it can be. Going to be a Skull Bash off of that quick Fear. Got himself an Immolate, but Colbri, I think it's just a matter of time with those spines until he's just gone. With Orakana deck, it does get cleaved down by the Overlord, unfortunately. But it's still going to be able to get the hell out of dodge there with Leo charging in next. That's going to try to see if he can go for a big setup versus the Feral Druid. Does get hit with the root immediately. Orakana try to see, I think, looks like try to go for a knock. But maybe not. He's going to go for a Clone Silence. Big hits out of Bear for him and it's over. He got a renewal. He can renew, but I don't think it matters. Yeah. He could have renewed, but I don't think it matters. That's a lot of damage out of the DK, man. Crazy. Is going to be Satua immediately getting cleaved down by Leo. Got him some full burst of Leo. How'd you avoid that grip? Hold on. He definitely yoinked you with a grip and then you just like, it was like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to get grip. You wanted a horse. Did the horse stop it? Is that what happened? Straight up, it looked like he got gripped. It looked like he was starting to get yoinked and was like, nah, I don't feel like it. What was that? I feel like Satua got cheated on a grip. Got himself another grip, grippy hands this time. That's about to be gone in the next patch, unfortunately. Silence to follow, and Leo does end up taking him out. Rick Meister trying to see if he can get himself a bit of an angle here. He got himself lots of pets. Destro this time around, so he's going to be able to play around the full Succubus build and everything here, huh? Shivara, rather. He got himself Shivara look instead. Shadow Fury does break out with an IBF immediately. Try to see if he can just mosey around that Shivara, dude. He's trying to land the Mesmerize. Or Seduce, rather. He does end up kind of getting clipped in the corner, where Rick wasn't able to really pass him all the way up to the platform or tombstone. And is able to break away from Rick for a second. That is an Infernal in play, though. There's going to be a Leo. Just try to see if he can back up out of the Leo. Try to see if he can avoid Rick, but Rick is going to get whatever line of sight he can to get a couple of conflagrations here and there to continue the damage going. Hey, Dal, I've been watching for 10 years. My man. Your bad Dark Spear, since your bad Dark Spear story, I just want to thank you for everything. My bad Dark Spear story? What, was it like a video titled My Bad Dark Spear Story? That was so long ago, man. I haven't played a Dark Spear in such a long while. Silence on a Rick. Trying to see if we can back the hell out of dodge. That's going to be a blind to follow for a second. Wall. Chaos Bolt 1. Fear to follow. Unless you meant like the Dark Spear days of Dal were the bad days. Like since the bad moments, man. I've been watching since those bad moments. It's only proof there. Oh, Combat Rogues of a 5.4. Dude, yeah, Combat Rogues of a mob. I feel like now that I like, they were in a rough spot, man. They were in a rough spot 11 years ago. Damn, dude, that make me feel old here. What the hell? I feel ancient now. Well, thanks. Well, thank you for that. Leo trying to see if we could back the hell out of there behind the pillar. He needs himself a grip. Playing against Rick as Destro, however, is I think a lot more manageable because you don't have all those billion pets to deal with. That gateway, however, does counter that silence fully. Are you gonna go Nakabi as well? He needs to get a Shavara out in the open to stop Leo. Leo does have a slow in Shavara. I don't even know if he can reach him. It barely was able to reach him. It was waddling after him. I think it has like a 30-yard range. So if you can stay beyond 30 yards, you can actually probably avoid it. That's going to be Rick with a couple insta-casts back behind the stairs. Trying to see if we can back up out of the Leo. You can grip him. Does get the grip. Blind to follow. That's massive. Hey, that's huge. You get yourself another stun. Frost's Fury's in play. You stun the Rick as well as the Succubus. Try to stay on top of him best possible. Got himself a bit of potential damage. Rick just trying to see if he float around. Does he have a port? Silence grips him in. I don't think he can port for a while. Massive cleaves onto Rick. Does pick up a Warlock Soulstone for a second. Mortal Coil onto Leo. Probably going to want to go for a port here soon, yeah? Leo with a Lichborn does get big slows onto Rick. He sets up a gateway. I don't know if he can use it. He does use it. Grips him a little early, however. You got to wait until it lands before you grip. You do have Deathstrikes at least. That is an Infernal. Not going to feel good. Aya Kill Rock sets the Succubus right next to him. Maybe something you can make work off of this. AMS for the Succubus can be CC'd. Does not have a port out of there. Trinket and something. I don't even know what. I think maybe try to Mortal Coil. No, I don't think he had it. But Leo does end up taking him out with who's going to be up next? It's going to be a Major? Yeah, there's going to be Extinction up next. Extinction Cortez. Blasting him out with Pyros back to back. My God. With Ascension, try to see if he can get himself the angle. He just did a couple of these here and there. Little new video from 13 years ago, you sound completely different. It is hilarious. Yeah. Pretty sure it's called puberty. That or I've been straining my voice. Because I always was kind of like mildly quiet. Or mildly well-mannered, and I really haven't been yelling my lungs out and stressing my vocal cords until I started streaming. So maybe part of it, right? YouTube, recording, streaming, right? Wore down my voice quite a decent bit, I imagine. Quite a decent bit. Part of it is probably puberty though. Oh, what was that? Okay, Leo did not have a lot of health to work with, but like, he just walked up and poof. That was disgusting. But like in the best way possible. Halo out for Guerreros. He's got himself lots of potential damage. You just gotta get those channels in. He definitely got to get those channels in. Void Torrent, that's a good channel. You got to get the other channels. You got to Disrupt on the Shadow. Just gonna spam a bunch of holy spells. Walking out of the Meteor. Fear onto Extinction. Gotta get those Insanities. But he's taking a lot of damage though. Hold on. Extinction trying to see. He's like, you know what? I know you're gonna cast at me. So I'm just gonna pummel you right now while you try to get set up. Stun. Let's see if the damage. Let's see if the channel. Mindful Insanity is going to be a ton of damage. Does get juked out on it. Hold on. Cauterize. Is it enough though? Block for a second. There's no help whatsoever. No more disperse. Try to go for healing. Extinction could still make a play. He's got Breath. He's got Meteor. Guerreros also can't move a lot, so you might just be able to toss a Meteor on him, and you might not be able to run out of it fast enough. That is a Shadow Priest though. That is a blind of the Priest. Breath. Oh, Trinkets. Try to go for a Fear. Did not connect. Silence though does connect. Nova for a second. Do you just Meteor him down? I think you just Meteor him down, right? Does interrupt him. Meteor not used yet. Hold on. You can just Meteor down on him. Does he just stop in place? No, doesn't even need to. Just a Fire Blast or two. Just a reverse blink. Couple of Fire Blasts. Singes him. With Eloise going to be up next. Extinction does not have anything. No Cauterize. No block. Does get hit with a stun. Within Fear. I think it's over. Yeah. You had to tackle him down, huh? Just had to just linebacker him real quick. Just shoulder check him when you're right next to him. That is insane. Eloise trying to see if he can potentially stay on top of Rifty though. That is going to be Meteor. Metamorphosis almost immune to Meteor, but used a little early. Metamorphosis was able to at least immune some of those Comet Storms. Crashing down little by little. As Eloise trying to back up out of that Pyro. Oh, that's just so much damage. Birdie up next with a big Void Torrent. Got yourself a bunch of potential damage here versus Rifty. I don't really know what you can do at this point as a mage, though. Got yourself Void Blast, looking for a Juke kick. Silence to follow. Mind Blast. Too bad Void Blasts are gone for a moment. Breath right after. Does, I think, kick Birdie. Yeah, does interrupt him. Meteor crashing in. Fear to follow. Rifty does have Undead Rachel, but I don't think he can use it once he uses a Trinket for 30 seconds. I'm pretty sure there's still DR'd. Does dispel it with a Mind Games to follow. Not giving Rifty much of a chance, though. While you don't have the big Rift damage, your damage is kind of like, you're just kind of chilling. Another Rift, big damage, big profile. Rifty might be in a lot of trouble. Ultra for a second. He still got himself that Rift right. Mosin right next to him with a cauterizer after. Rift is left with not a lot to work with. Breath to fall. He needs a shield. Meteor. That was an attempt. If only he had a shield, then Meteor. That might have been the way. Leo picking up 3. Excentia doesn't pick it up 2 though. Well done, well done. Fantastic. Fantastic.